I'd like to share some information or my experience of what I have gone through over the last month and the changes that I have experienced on a personal level. Now, with these videos, I hope to offer guidance and even forecasts and upcoming, well, with the lunar cycles especially, how we can work with some of these energies for your transformation. But also part of it is sharing my stories and what I'm going through and what I'm experiencing in hopes to also offer you some clarity with what you might be going through and what you might be experiencing, as this can be a very isolating experience. And I do have a theory on why it also can be, which I'll touch on in the end if I remember. But I want to talk about what I've gone through over the last month. Now, we're all on different journeys. We all are experiencing different experiences within ourselves, but also too, a lot of us are experiencing somewhat similar occurrences with transformation, with really dark stuff, with uncertainties, with the belief systems, with the mindset, with the emotions, with the body. We're in a timeline where we're right in the middle of this incredible transformation. So it can be a bit of a pressure cooker kind of feeling, where we're taking on a lot of this energy, and it is increasing our awareness, it is increasing our sensitivities. And that is a good thing. And it's also a very challenging thing, because the more sensitive we become, the more sensitive we become. Like, we really start to feel the good and the challenging, the light and the dark. And the dark energy could be our dark energy. It also can be what's happening in the world or other people's dark energies. So this is part of what we're transforming into or towards. And the sensitivities and the intuitiveness and our senses and our emotions is a very vital part of our being. But this is also very new to a lot of us. Our intuitive gifts, our sensitivities, our emotions, again, feeling and sensing, relating, interpreting, integrating, understanding is becoming heightened and heightened as we go. And a lot of us, this is again very new. So a lot of us are learning all of these new experiences as we go. And this is what I'm going through right now, especially. This is my journey. So my story is going to be a bit different than maybe yours. But what similarities we could be experiencing is the transformation that feels uncomfortable. Feeling alone and isolated, having the uncertainties, going through our own demons, going through our own fears, limitations, insecurities, this emotional upheaval. But then we reach these points, and I do need to talk about this particular process very carefully, because again, it's probably what either you are experiencing, what you have experienced, or what you are going to experience. So over the last month in January, I talked about this earlier with regards to my downward spiral, and it was a very, very, very intense time. I also did a podcast on it as well. I suggest taking a listen, because I went into more detail there. But what happened was, well, I still don't know exactly what happened. I was triggered by an event. It sent me into a downward spiral, and it hit me twice. It was the triggered event that lasted a week. And then I had another event after that was a lot shorter. But the similarities of these two events, the energy and the information that came to me, the old programming, the despair, the uncertainty, the fear, the lack mindset really came in like a freight train. It was so uncontrollable. If I tried to control it, I couldn't. It had to process. And it was very, very uncomfortable. It wasn't fun. I'd like to say, when those times come, just work through it, be constructive. But sometimes it is impossible to do that. Sometimes it is impossible to feel constructive and productive at a time like that. It becomes very overwhelming, and it almost takes over. It almost feels like it's taking control of the emotions and the thoughts and personality even. So after both of those times, after both of those cycled through, I felt better. And also my intuitive and psychic gifts have gone up. My senses have increased a lot. My creative work, if you've noticed, maybe some of you have, has increased a lot. My confidence has increased a lot. So I've gone through a bit of a death and rebirth. Now I do have a lot of scorpionic energy in my chart, and it's an energy archetype that I'm becoming very familiar with. And I feel like I've had to go into this transformation of my own to, well, it's a death and rebirth. It's purging old energies. It is of the ascension and awakening process. And when we go through this, or if you go through it or are going through it, there's going to feel a time where it feels out of control. It feels like nothing is working. Everything is going to feel, it feels like life is against you, that there's no way out, that, I mean, it's going to range differently for everyone. This is, I'm speaking from my own experience, but again, if it relates to you, then you can take this to help you. I mean, there's going to be all sorts of things. You know, there could be old memories from the past. There could be mother-father wounds. There could be, many different things that could come to the surface. And it comes to the surface for us to look at, to stare it straight in the face. And sure, we can wallow in it. We can fall into it, and that's fine because it is processing. This is old stuff, old energies, old timelines, lots of stuff that is running its course. But as soon as you get out of the thick, it's going to hit really thick. It can hit really thick. It can last a day. It can last a couple minutes. It can last a week. As soon as it stops feeling thick and consuming, and know that that is not your reality. The struggle, this is never going to work. I feel like I'm going nowhere. The universe is against me, which I'll get into in a moment. I mean, it can go on and on and on. And I want to encourage you to be real about your thoughts and your beliefs around this heavier and denser, lower vibe energy. And this is not about toxic positivity. I am not that person. So this is about just getting real with what we are saying to ourselves, what we are saying to other people, what we're saying putting into the universe, what we're speaking into the universe, what we're thinking into the universe. And it can be very habitual, and it can feel very normal for us to wallow in this old belief and story and feeling. But those beliefs and stories and feelings become very addictive and become very safe because we've lived in those feelings and those beliefs our entire life or more. So when we start letting go of that, our ego is going to want to hold on to it. We're going to want to stay in there. And there's going to have to be trust that needs to be opened up for us to create a new pathway for success and for empowerment and for love and for manifestation. We have to trust, and we have to start constructively turning around and pointing ourselves in that direction for change. And we're not going to change our reality, and no one is going to do this for you or for me. No one's going to help me. No one's going to save me. Even an awakening isn't going to save me. And we need to also get real that it's going to take us to do that work, to make that change, to get out of the thick of the beliefs and the limitations and that low energy that we can wallow in and we can stick ourselves in or get stuck in, versus the moving out and start to work towards trusting, letting go of the ego and the stories and this is difficult, it's not happening the way I want, I'm never going to get out, life is hard. Moving away from that and opening up to trust and letting go of that old mindset. And like I said, the ego is going to want to hold on to it because it's familiar, it's safe, and it's control. And when we are in that mindset, it's not healthy and we don't like it, but we are the only ones who are going to get out of it. No one's going to come in and save you or save me to change that mindset or to change that reality. If we become successful overnight, we're still going to find something wrong with that picture because our mindset is still in that old perpetual story of I can't, this is frustrating, this is hard, I can't do this anymore. This comes from childhood, it comes from our subconscious, can come from past life, it comes from buried deep within us, and we have to let it go. And sometimes we have to go through those really hard purges. Sometimes we have to go through those really difficult transformations. And I'm going to go into, well, I'll leave this for later at the very end. It is a side thought that I had about the isolation aspect. But my own experience, myself going through this, because I've had these thoughts, and again, this is all, I'm speaking about complete experience here. Because I went through this January, which is odd because we have a universal month number 9 in February, and my personal numbers are lining up for February should be a difficult month for me, but January was. So it all, again, and I'm going to do a separate video on not relying too heavily on tarot and astrology and all of these outer indicators too much. It's all about us feeling our way and using ourselves, our guidance system, to understand this and dissect it and learn from it and empower ourselves at the end of the day. But I'll make a separate video on that. So what I've experienced since that change and that transformation, my senses have grown, my empathic abilities have increased, my psychic abilities have increased, my healing abilities have increased. I can't even describe what I'm feeling right now. It's amazing. It's incredible. My creative work, again, has changed a lot, and it keeps changing and it keeps moving up and up and up. And now, after I've gone through that, so after the thick of things where it was really, really difficult, as soon as that really difficult energy starts to subside a little bit, the ego will want to keep holding on to it. Even if it's about a person, holding on to the anger or frustration around that person or a situation or what just happened, that's where you do the work. That is where you constructively start to get out of the mind, out of the ego, and open up for more, open up for constructive solutions, to put your mindset into love and trust and empowerment and success and the will and the desire to create. And you move your way out of it as fast as you can. And you may have to go through this many times over and over and over again, but right in that window, this is it. Right in that window, right as soon as you get through that really heavy, gross stuff, the energy, the thick of an emotional upheaval or something of that nature, then we can stay stuck in that for months, years, life, eternity. Or that's the moment where we say, no, I need to work my way out of it. I have to start changing my mindset. I have to stop giving energy to that. I have to change my mind. And even if it's, when I used to do these affirmations, I am abundant, I am successful, I am this, I am that, I thought it was dumb. I thought it was stupid because I was talking like this positive, just everything was okay. And when I'm in it, I would despise it. I would despise it because I would think it was so full of lies and fake and phony. But that was my ego, and that was my anger at everything I was feeling, and my frustration with my life and the situation, and just, So there's value to this, the affirmations, but you have to feel it and use your own affirmations. Use your own internal guidance system to feel into constructive thoughts and beliefs and affirmations to work your way out towards a constructive future. And it's trust. I trust the process. Everything is happening for me. Change is happening. I am working through this. Believe it. Believe in those affirmations. Believe in them. You can go into the I am abundant. You can project into your future reality. You can watch videos. You can watch TikTok videos on lifestyles that align with the future you desire. Those all work, but you have to feel it to believe it. And if there's anger, frustration, sadness, sorrow, fear, it's going to take a little bit of time to move from those energies into the new. But when you start believing it and with conviction, this is going to be my reality. I am going to succeed. You can see the difference with my voice and with my tone and my energy and my posture. It changes everything. And when we wallow in it and my life is so hard, this never is going to change, I've been working so hard, it's the energy, it brings us down, right? So this was very profound for me, and it is one aspect I feel, try it for yourself. I really encourage you. It will take time because, again, this is a process, but you will see the shifts. And look at the shifts, look for those shifts within yourself on many different layers. And for me, this wasn't necessarily about an awakening. It kind of was. It was different though. It was empowerment, it was confidence, it was clarity. Maybe it was an awakening, but I feel that this was more about my senses and myself on an empowerment level, peeling back some layers of limitations, of low worth, like the really heavy stuff. And then my gifts have heightened so much. Now, when I am channeling on my tarot video, it is coming in like lightning and it is clear. And I don't know where I'm channeling from. I don't need to know, but it is coming from somewhere pretty insane. That is all I'm saying. And I had a really hard time channeling this energy at the beginning because it was very strong. And my internal belief system, my subconscious, was very limited, very low, very much in fear. I was stuttering a lot. I couldn't process information. It all came from low confidence, so much trauma. I mean, and this also is past life as well. I know it for sure. But a lot of being silenced, not confident speaking up, not confident speaking my voice. I was tripping myself up all the time. So I couldn't be a clear conduit for that energy coming in. But now I feel, I want to say I am, but some things do change and come up as I move along here as well, but I'm always fine tuning. And this has really I have taken a big leap forward because of what I just went through. Huge. And now I am popping off all of those limited thoughts and emotions so quick. They come up, gone, not even giving my energy to it. It is not going to be part of my reality anymore. Maybe it might come in very strong, but these quick little thoughts, just ripping them off, let it go, let it go, let it go. No, this is my new reality and I am not settling for anything less than that. And that's it. And see, you can see the change in voice, in certainty, you own it. And this is the process, right? So you have to want it in order to make it so. And you may fall a few times, you may feel like you're going back a few steps, but then it will become stronger and stronger as you move along. All right, so also want to address what I said earlier about why this is such a lonely and isolated journey. Some of us need that time. Well, I want to say all of us do need the time to reflect inward, to get in touch with ourselves, to go through this process, to have a safe space to work in. And that's also part of it. It can be very healthy. It also can be very unhealthy. I want to say I'm more on the unhealthy side in my space, actually. I feel that what happened was around 2020 when everything went upside down. When that happened, I feel that a lot of people were very relieved to be able to isolate and to be able to be on their own and to get out of the corporate environment or to work from home in whatever capacity. And I feel that a lot of us who've experienced trauma or difficult child life, can easily retract inwards to what feels safe. And it serves a purpose. It can be very healthy. We also need to identify what we're doing with the reality that we're creating with our space, being at home, being isolated, not letting people in, because it can be a reactive response to wanting to be safe in our box, wanting to be protected. That also comes from a trauma response or a subconscious response, and it forms our reality like that. This is me. This is what I've done as well. And I know a lot of people can relate, especially if you're empathic, if you are sensitive to energy. It is very safe to be isolated because we also need that to recharge. We need that space to recharge. We need that space to connect with ourselves. It can be very chaotic going outside. It can be very chaotic dealing with people or being triggered. But it also can be, on the flip side, it can be almost too much, right? So I do feel that a lot of us, empaths or not, or those who might be empaths and might not realize it, a lot of people have retracted. And so a lot of people are in isolation and doing this work alone. So I want to encourage you out there watching this video, try, and if you're feeling this is resonating with you, just reflect on that. Just reflect if that is your case, if there is anything that can be changed. And I'm working on this myself, to change that reality after a certain period of time. Because like I said, it does serve a purpose, and it does allow for a lot of transformation to happen, and even your gifts to be heightened or to make change in your life. But it also can be, on the flip side, can be very isolating and very unhealthy. So that aspect too does need to be looked at, because we can really work on this path by ourselves, not feeling comfortable expressing ourselves or going through really difficult times by ourselves. And it doesn't have to be that way. All right. So anyway, I hope this is resonating. I hope it's helping you with your journey. If you have any questions or comments, leave below. If you need to reach out for anything as well, please feel free to send me a message. And of course, we have the Shadow Project, which really is built around community, a very small, intimate group, but it's around healing, and it is around building that support network for everyone, because it can be a very isolating path and it can be a very isolating journey. So I'm speaking from experience as well. And it is really very, very empowering to be around people, and especially those going through this journey together. All right, so I'm wishing you all the best during your journey and beyond, and I will be seeing you very soon. Take care.